Wesley, they can hear you.
Sorry.
That was hilarious. All right, everybody, welcome back to SketchCraft Live. I'm Rob Duenas. That's me right there, Graphic Artist Esquire. Welcome to SketchCraft Gaming, where once a week we take a look at all the news in gaming and stuff, because other than drawing, that's the shit we do. We game. That's what we do. We like to sit in a room, play games. Joining me to talk about this stuff is Ashley West from GangFeather.com. Ashley, say hi.
Hello.
And returning, again, uncensored, Wesley Rescher. Wesley, say hello.
Hello. Ladies first today. I like it.
Let's get filthy, huh, Wesley?
Dude, so just really quick, I was just on a website and my wife's computer does not have ad blocker and some music video just started blasting in my ear, so I didn't know how to react. I was afraid you could hear it. That's how loud it was. But I was wrong and said you just heard me cuss.
Give or take, what we have to talk about. I'm on a rant anyway, so let's just move right into it. Kind of a slow week in gaming. I got a few things up on the board, but Ashley, why don't you go ahead and kick off your first topic?
Okay. I'm a little bit late, but on March 7th, the Doom Reverse cover art was chosen. And there were two options. Let's see. Hold on. Okay. There was one cover that was basically an homage to the 1993 original Doom game, where it's, some guy slaying demons in hell, basically.
I got it up on the screen right now. Yeah. So
okay, good. And then can they see the other one? Because I can't see it.
The black one?
Okay, good.
There was
and then
really
there was
only
the black
one
one.
option.
Okay, anyways. And so, did you guys vote? I voted.
Yeah.
Okay.
I voted for this one right here, the red one with all the cool demons and shit. Yeah.
Me too. So obviously, and I was like, that one's totally gonna win, not by a little bit, but by a lot. And I was pretty much right. So, and it said, okay, I'm on. What is it? PlayStationLifestyle.net. I mean, according to them, almost 70% of the 62,000 votes were for the option 2 homage cover. So.
Well, hopefully this starts a trend where they can put artistic covers on the inside of every game, so we can get something that just looks cool. It doesn't have any text anywhere, just the logo and really cool art. Fuck the logo even, just
How about instead of that, like a fucking instruction booklet?
Well, Wesley, I wish we could go back to cardboard packaging. I'm one of the few guys that actually prefers the CD jewel cases from the PlayStation era as well, because you had weight to them. It felt like you were buying something, so I'm with you, and that CD jewel case is amazing because you can put a nice little instructional sleeve right in there, and it doesn't seem to take up much spot or much space. All right. So Wesley, you have any thoughts about this, or you glad this is the one you wanted to win?
Yeah, I'm glad this is the one to win. I wish this would be the actual cover.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Remember we brought this up when they first launched the cover and how they just kept sticking like different people and calling it like Doom. There's all those like fake covers. Or they're putting the Doom cover like on everything else, like Crisis and Madden, and it just, it didn't fit in Madden, but it was pretty funny to see how generic they make the actual cover, because they think that's what's going to appeal to the mass market.
And the actual cover, the one that was ill-received, that is still the outside cover, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or is it not? Okay. All right. Just making sure.
And maybe that's a new trend, is make a really shitty cover and then get yourself extra press by doing some kind of like contest later. Because would anybody be talking about Doom this month, really?
No. Well, that just gets back to how boring video game marketing is. Look at Deadpool. Deadpool, to bring up a side note, Deadpool had an illustrated poster. They did the illustrated poster on top of all the photo posters. But video gaming, for some reason, it all based around what they think they can sell at Walmart, and they all think that they need to look the same. Big head, big character, big logo, bunch of fucking pull quotes, rated something on IGN. Who the fuck cares?
Right.
Has anyone
And I
ever gone to?
guess
Hold on one second. Has anyone ever gone to Walmart and been like, "Oh, that was rated by that got a 4 out of what on IGN? I gotta get that. I don't know what it is, but doesn't everyone just look shit up now on their phones? Like I don't know. You were saying, Ashley?
pretty much, yeah. But I guess they just go with the generic because it's successful and it's worked before, so it's just safe to do
Well, I'll
or
tell you,
easy.
when we were at Play and we were working more with the PR people, like at EA and shit, on the covers and stuff. Those covers had to be approved by like 10 different people and the marketing people and the art director people. I mean, those guys that did the Golden Axe, remember they did the Golden Axe remake?
Hmm.
The cover, we had this chick, this CG painted girl on a CG dragon. So she was painted over a CG model, digi painted in the CG dragon. They probably spent about $10,000 just making that cover. Between all the revisions and the different artists they put on there. And at the end of the day, I was like, why don't you just give us a piece of concept art? That you got hundreds of pieces of concept art sitting in a vault. Just hand us a cool piece of art. And like, no, this is what's gonna, has to be this big intricate thing. And I'm like, it really doesn't. It just needs to look like a cool piece of art. And I know, Lord knows they hire enough creative people. They got a ton of it. But marketing departments, I mean, what is it? You worked on the PR side of thing, right? You've seen where
Yeah,
maybe
well, and,
too many.
and I've worked in retail too. I get so I've seen firsthand like on a day-to-day basis like how customers react to things. And as cool as the cover of that one for the alternate box art is, there'd be a ton of moms like, "Oh my God, there's demons and devils, and this isn't appropriate." And especially
It's
anybody
true.
of like a strong religious faith could be offended by that, so they try to make the least offensive cover. So I get that, but as gamers,
But
I
they're
want.
gonna know it when they get the game home and there's demons.
I know.
And they're like, oh,
I I remember one time when I was working at GameStop, this woman came in and she looked at the cover and it was for oh my God, it was a Vanillaware game. It was the one that the RTS or it's right on the shelf in front of me. Grim Grimoire, that game. She thought this looked really cool, and I told her how it was a really cool like strategy game and explained it to her, and she bought it. She came back the next day and was like, "I didn't know this was about witches. Like witchcraft is blasphemy." And I was, I was
It had the
like,
word
really?
grimoire and a cauldron on
I
the cover, right?
Yeah, I let her return it. It was no big deal, but I was like, yeah, it's like Harry Potter. She's like, oh, I would never watch Harry Potter. Like what the
mm,
word, the concept of witches to her, were completely against her beliefs. And you know, as much as I think that's crazy, there's people out there who, you know, I don't. Even though I just did judge them, I don't really care what they think. As long as they don't bug me about it, they can think whatever they want.
It's like the Punisher says, they're just one bad day away from basically turning it into, the medieval nightmare. Like, ooh, that magic box produces pictures, like technically your PlayStation's a witch. It takes code and magically transforms it into, like creatures and worlds that don't actually exist. So, I don't know, man. But at the end of the day, I suppose it's a win. I consider this a win. There will be an artistic cover in that box, and it's a slow creeping step back toward the shit we used to have all the time. Artwork driven covers, instruction manuals, fuck. What I mean? Kids,
and,
they just don't know. Like these days, you have to pay $100 to get what we used to just get in the game before. And like
yeah.
maybe now they ship some cheap ass molded, they call it a statue, but we all know it's basically a 3D printer in India, kicking out a bunch of fucking starships with bad painting and they charge you $100 for it, right, Wesley?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't buy them anymore. I've been good.
Ashley, you were gonna
Well,
say?
and and possibly and probably because we're seeing less and less of the artistic covers is because video games are a lot more popular and they're a little bit more mainstream than they used to be, obviously. And so maybe that's why like they're just more critically looked at now and they have to go through more hoops.
At least this isn't the minimalist movement where it's all just red and the word Doom is like in Helvetica.
Yeah.
You know, I fucking hate minimalism. All right. Anyway, perfect. Great way to kick off the show. I want to bring up something really quick before I get into my other two topics. I have been waiting anxiously for the last 2 weeks for them to announce the new Batman game from Telltale Games. And today was the day they were supposed to do it. And when I say it's supposed to, because they had a press conference and they showed absolutely fucking nothing. They showed this trailer that showed no footage, just smoke and random dialogue and, a Batman symbol. And they did an interview where they just basically reiterated the shit they've been reiterating, that you're going to be able to play as Bruce Wayne or Batman, and it's going to be different than Arkham because it's story based. And I guess the only bit of new news is that it's going to be a rated M game, but I think all the Batman games are rated M, so I don't know. But I'm let down because I'm like, not one fucking screenshot. You can't just show one wallpaper, one desktop wallpaper we could all download. Like, I don't know, man. I don't get this whole. It's like when they put countdown timers. Remember Wesley, a few years ago, Square kept doing this. They kept putting countdown timers, and it would lead to another countdown timer. Like, you were like, what?
I remember all the fake countdown timers for Fallout 4 that kept getting leaked.
Yeah. So this felt like a countdown
fake,
timer.
Somebody. Oh,
go ahead.
Yeah, they were making like sites that people thought they seemed like pretty legit, and just would lead to
What
like
is the
nothing.
point of that? Just, whatever. I guess I need.
People were yearning for more Fallout.
Yes.
And I guess that they kept thinking if they kept making a countdown timer, that would force Bethesda to make a game, or I don't know. It's weird, but this felt like a countdown timer that has now moved to another countdown timer. Now I gotta wait again. All I want is some footage, some screenshots,
Well, maybe we'll get something at PAX East. That's
when the fuck is PAX East? Like
next month,
April.
22nd through the 25th.
Wouldn't it have been really great though that the week Batman v Superman comes out, they showed off a screenshot from their game?
This weekend or next weekend?
It's this weekend. I mean, matter of fact, I'm going to the early screening Monday, so it's next weekend. But if you're going to show the game off on the 18th, I don't know. It's just this is a Telltale game. They can't possibly be refining the graphics, right? Like,
well, what if maybe Warner Brothers doesn't want them to pull, any hype away from the movie?
Is that possible?
It could be. When I did PR, I used to do PR for DC. Well, I still do PR, but when I did games directly, I did it for DC Universe Online. Was one of the games I worked on, and everything had to be approved by Warner Brothers. Anything we did that touched their characters, we had to make sure we got their approval. That's why those games a lot of times most of the updates were of the lower tier superheroes because they're like, yeah, we don't give a shit about Aquaman. But I mean, now they probably do. But
yeah, now they do. No, whatever. I'm bummed out. So now we wait some more. But I'm the only person begging for this game, by the way. Like I know it's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. I love point-and-click adventures. But I actually get to experience a Batman story that doesn't involve doing the same Kratos roundhouse kick 800 fucking times over and over and over and over and over. Like I'm actually getting to solve crimes.
Now you're just okay. Well, hopefully it's a lot different. I mean, is Game of Thrones any different than Borderlands?
But that's what I want. I want that experience, but with Batman. Like the Wolf Among Us, Borderlands. I want a story-driven puzzle adventure game. I'm tired of the Arkham Knight games, man. Like I can now dynamically jump out my car with motion blur versus dynamically jump up into the air with motion blur. Like there's parts of Batman's mythos that I love that don't revolve around just punching the shit out of guys left and right. That they have never been able to successfully capture in the video game, and I know Telltale can do it. So, whatever.
Just play the Adventures of Batman and Robin on the Genesis.
I have, Wesley, too many times. That is such a great co-op game, too, man. It really is. The one on the Genesis is fantastic. So one of the best side running. It's technically a cave game. It's a shooter game, really.
Yeah, it feels like an old treasure, like Gunstar Heroes or one of those games. So
yeah. No, I played the shit out of that, man. I rented it so many times from Blockbuster Video when I was in high school that I could have bought the game. It's one of those things. All right, so moving on. Wesley, now I need you to explain this to me a little bit because I have my opinion on it. But this week was an amazing week in what the fuck news. So, you know who Jim Sterling is, right, Wesley?
Yeah, I used to work with him. He was, I used to write for Destructoid, so he was the reviews, main editor. He issued me a few reviews.
So his big thing now is he goes on Steam, plays shitty games, makes some funny videos about it, warns people,
His Squirty plays.
Right, right.
The weirdest names.
He sort of picked a little fight with these guys who make these generic first-person shooters. These developers called Digital Homicide. Now, I personally have not played their games because I don't fucking care, Anyhow, he picked some. I don't know. They really didn't like his reviews, and there's been some shit slinging between the two of them for a while now. And apparently, Digital Homicide went and decided to file a lawsuit against him.
Pretty much defamation lawsuit
for like $10 million. Yeah, for $10 million. But this is a kicker. They file a defamation lawsuit for $10 million in the state of Arizona. So technically, I blame Brandon. And then they go, this is, Ashley, you're going to love this. Then they're like, we can't afford our legal fees. So they also started a crowdfunding campaign.
I saw that.
Yes!
I was like, what? Are you some kind of teenager? Like, that's kind of something that a teenager would try to do. Like,
I wish we had crowdfunding when I was a kid because I would have crowdfunded someone to help me pay a guy to beat up my bullies. You know what I mean? Like, I can't fight these dudes. Could you maybe help me pay this kid to fight those kids? So, I wish they've dropped the crowdfunding because that apparently didn't go over very well. Like, I wish I could have been there to see.
Most people in the community are going to side on Jim Sterling's side.
Right?
Yeah.
So I want to get your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing if they were making like AAA quality games and he was slinging mud, but I don't think there are many fans out there of their titles.
Yeah, he'd catch them on stuff like these are, Shutterstock textures or pre-made assets.
Yeah, like they bought assets from, places you can buy assets from. They weren't doing anything illegal, but they weren't creating their own assets.
Right, but you don't have to. No one has to compliment you for that. You know, so and they would not deny it. Yeah, we did, but so what? And they're like, okay, well, he doesn't like that. Well, why? Well, he doesn't have to like it, man. Like, what? I was on Twitter today because I'm stupid, and someone was like, "This is the beginning of the end." I don't know. Twitter seems to think anytime something happens in a courtroom, it's like it means something. And so I tried to tell him, I said, in a way, even if Jim just walks into a court, which will never happen, but let's say he does, he doesn't have to have representation. This is going to go nowhere. It'll never move past anything. And then when it doesn't, you also have something called precedent. So, when if this goes to court, Digital Homicide will lose, which will set precedent, which will keep anyone from doing this shit again. And precedent means, like when you're watching a movie and they cite Plessy versus Ferguson, shit like that. They'll name off some case. Oh, remember in, Hanks versus, DreamWorks. No. That's precedent. It's a prior case.
Gawker versus Balea.
Sure, right. So, cute. So that's precedent. You get to say, well, in this case, the court ruled this way. It was in favor of our defendant. So that's what that means. But this will never go to court. No judge is going to look at this.
So, I don't know. They picked Arizona because Arizona is like the state that will F you over. They have... I remember reading something about this a while ago. Like when they first kind of said like one day someone will sue you. I think I remember reading an article somewhere about how if they were going to sue Arizona, it made the most sense because of some of the laws there. Like it's easier to go after journalists in the state of Arizona than it is in California. I want to say there's less protection.
Yeah, but these documents require time, money to file. It's never going to happen, dude. This is just this is a really interesting trollish behavior, I mean,
yeah.
You know how many lawyers represent game developers online who will take Jim's case pro bono because this is bullshit? Like, case in point, when the Fine brothers were trying to fucking trademark React videos, I had 3 different lawyers who were like, "This will never happen. I will fucking fight this to the tooth and nail. These guys are in for an uphill battle. No, 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 no." So like, it's just funny that I'm gonna sue you. Someone should sue you. I'm gonna sue you, but we can't afford to sue you. Could you please give us money to sue this guy for not liking our games? You couldn't get people to pay. They couldn't get people to pay them for their game. Why? Why?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is not going to go anywhere too. But there's this little part about that makes me a little bit worried that it could go somewhere. Things like he's never finished the game from start to finish, so how fair is it for him to give a full critique of something if he's never completed it? I think
it's fair to give him
fair.
it's a fair for
Yeah.
when you put a work out you put creative endeavors out that are people have to review them. They don't have to be fair. Wesley, there's no court on God's green earth that's gonna hear this shit. Like they're just not. This is gonna be they can go in there and the judge will be like, "This is fucking ridiculous." They'll talk. I don't care if it's Arizona. These guys don't know what they're doing. Hey, look, if Dave Halverson himself can't get sued, then these guys got no chance.
So I'm looking at the Destructoid posting of this story, and he used to work there, so they acknowledge that. But they have a picture of part of the actual suit that was filed. This is the best part. Count 6, libel per quote. On September 24th, 2015, the defendant states in the article, being as sly as the wet bandits, comparing the plaintiff to an incompetent thief, reference to the movie Home Alone. Like, that's literally in the court document. Like, they're upset that they were called the wet bandits, and that's hilarious.
I'm gonna be honest. I've been in a lot of courtrooms. Growing up, I got left at the courthouse. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a lawyer until I realized I'm too lazy to memorize that stuff. Yeah, I played all the Ace Riot attorney games. I've met Aaron Sorkin quite a few times. Just went up to go see him personally to watch the Jobs a couple months back. Love A Few Good Men. I'm gonna go see that shit if it ever comes back down here to be a play again. I love courtroom dramas.
Do you know who Larry H. Parker is?
Larry H. Parker?
I'm just curious. He was like one of those ambulance chaser lawyers, and
I know where you're going with this. Yeah,
but
yeah.
Commercial was everywhere in the 90s, so I was just curious if that made it to your neck of the woods.
That guy with the suit and the suitcase. Yeah.
Yeah.
But dude, it just kills me when video games and you couldn't. I just figured after the remember what's his face? Name escapes me right now. I'm brain farting. Remember that dumbass who kept trying to sue video games for the longest
Jack Thompson?
Thank you. That guy couldn't get shit going in Florida. And let's be honest, if there was one state that was going to fuck over anybody, Florida's where it's really going to happen.
Yeah. That guy eventually got himself disbarred, didn't he?
Yes. Yeah. So, I like the other guy that was going after video games recently. He just ended up in court for fraud.
Oh, that was some California congressman.
Yeah, jail for fraud, 15 years. He got the same amount of time Jared Fogle got. So he must have pissed someone off. Anyway, so yeah, Ashley, if you put something out and someone doesn't like your book, you can sue them.
I don't know why. I feel like that's a waste of time.
How is that possibly going to help your they make products.
Well, this is the only way these guys are going to make money, it seems like. Get that
Does Jim Sterling have $10 million?
No.
What are they going to get that from?
Not only do they want money, but they want an apology. Yeah. And they want his slot on his YouTube channel, that main video slot, to basically always, for a 5-year period, have an apology video.
It reminded me, you ever seen The Iron Giant?
Yeah.
There's a scene in The Iron Giant where Kent, whatever the government stooge, is like, and I'm gonna want that memo, and I'm gonna want that triplicate. You're gonna say sorry, and it's gonna have to be there every time. This is never going to happen. I mean, it's funny, man. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's the craziest thing I read all week. I mean,
It's up there, Wesley. I think all time it's up there in the upper echelons. It's not the craziest shit I've heard in gaming, but in a while, not since that time they tried to go after Notch for the word scrolls. Have I been
Mm.
like, and this is right up there with like the King's Crush bullshit. Remember the Candy Crush Saga nonsense? They were, trying to own the word
Well, do you remember
saga.
the guy who made the game Edge?
Yeah, that guy. So if you don't know what he's talking about, this guy trademarked the word edge in use for gaming. So no one could use the word edge in a game
Oh, they did.
title
He was trying to
without
sue
paying him.
EA for Mirror's Edge.
Yeah.
There was
Yep.
another company that made this cool little puzzle game. I think it was just called Edge on iPhones.
What about
And
Cross Edge? Remember Atlas?
yeah, he came out of like the woodworks because he trademarked it back on like the Atari.
Yeah, it was like
But
in '84 or
yeah,
'83. Yeah, it was funny, man. And so EA finally got that one taken care of. But this is a review. Like, unless like Jim was specifically taking these guys' individual names and calling their mothers and children's, like here's where they live, go attack them. There's no way.
I haven't watched it, but he did do like an interview with them, like on his channel. Like he did a Skype call where he got them on the phone and they had their first round of discussions. So I don't think he attacks them there. I think he just has an actual conversation. But I haven't listened to all of it.
These guys are morons. They're morons, Wesley. But it's gonna make for fun
Well,
watching.
I have no true opinion because I don't want to get sued either.
Guys, sue me. Watch what happens. Like, like this is ridiculous. So I blame our legal system. In the UK, when there's frivolous lawsuits, the person who filed it ends up having to pay for all this shit. And if we would just go to that system, it would end all this nonsense. So,
So really quick, because I mean it's not game related, but it's law related. But you saw, I don't know if you heard, the ruling on the Gawker versus Hulk Hogan thing today.
I did. That is game related because
Yeah,
Gawker owns Kotaku,
Kotaku. Yeah.
right? You want to tell people what happened?
So Gawker posted part of a Hulk Hogan like sex tape that apparently he was unaware he was being filmed,
Yeah.
and yeah, that whole part's even crazy too, just how it came to be. But regardless, he sued them for like 115 million, something like that.
110, and they awarded
110.
115. Yeah.
And he ended up winning. And
Hogan?
not only that, but yeah, Hogan won, and not only they awarded him 110 and punitive damage, so like technically and more money, which is yet to be determined. So he could walk away with more, he could walk away with less, if they reduce it, but still.
Well,
It's,
usually it goes through appeals, and then
yeah,
the number comes down. It could end up being probably closer to 25 or 50 million. That being said, is Gawker even worth $50 million?
I don't know. Like I feel like if they lose, like this could shut down like their whole network.
End of
Kotaku.
Kotaku. Yeah.
And what else did they have? Deadspin, Jezebel, like I don't
Annotate.
know.
I read it.
What's their main site? Is it just Gawker, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, which would be crazy. I mean, some people don't like Kotaku. I like some of. I don't. I like some of the stories Kotaku does. They do some good journalism, but I mean, this is obviously their parent company. But it's
They
pretty
have
crazy.
been pushing some of their trollish shit. Like this wasn't them
Yeah.
like reviewing WrestleMania 32 and doing nothing but clowning Hulk Hogan. This was taking a tape that they don't even to this day no one knows how it got out. Sure. And then running it with the Express, like the way they worded some of that shit in there, it was just they were just trying to tear a dude down.
Yeah, they bought the tape. They bought the rights to it, so they had the exclusive. It wasn't like it was news out there and they got there first. Like they bought it. They kept. They had the exclusive.
They should have gone in half with TMZ and let TMZ take the hit because TMZ could take that hit more than Gawker. Like and this isn't their. I think they were trying to break into that TMZ area, but I don't know, Wesley. I mean, look, if even if they're out 50 million, I just don't see them surviving.
Yeah.
Like they'll have to fold or I don't know,
And
sell
I
them.
mean, and I'm kind of glad, not because it's Gawker. Like you care less, but I do think people's rights to their privacy should be respected, especially something of this nature. Like, I'm not against seeing sex on the internet, but if someone does something like this, or if it's secret or not secret, that's not news. That's just, like shock factor, and that's not going to make the world a better place. It's not going to educate me. I'm not going to learn anything from it. I'm just going to be like, ooh, that's funny. Hulk Hogan's got a, whatever.
Got a little Hulkster.
Yeah.
Well, whatever, dude.
How cute. He puts a little bandana on it too.
Whatever. Been an interesting legal week in gaming. Speaking of legal stuff, let's just wrap this one up. So there's a game I've been looking forward to, announced for the PlayStation 4 around the time, I think even before it came out, called Rhyme. See if I can bring this up and go on my links. Yeah. Copy.
By Tequila Works.
Yeah, Tequila. They're the guys that did Guacamole, right? Tequila.
Oh, Guacamole?
Yeah, same guys, right?
Yeah.
So they've been making this 3D adventure game that had like a journey meets, witness or mist kind of feel to it, called Rhyme. Wow, how long do you think it'll take for Destructoid to load? That, I mean, what's up with Destructoid's server? I'm just trying to load the link, and I'm like, it's just, got me spinning right around here.
They're indie powered.
So this is off Destructoid. I like Destructoid. I was just like, what's going on? So this game Rhyme was announced that it was going to be a PlayStation 4 exclusive by Sony. And apparently that's no longer true. Like Tequila Works bought back the IP from Sony.
So they didn't make Guacamole. They made Deadlight.
I thought they made Guacamole.
No, I'm looking them up right now.
I might got that wrong. Is that another tequila game? Maybe. I thought they made Guacamole. Yeah, that's their Twitter.
No.
Nope, they only did Deadlight. My bad, folks. My bad. So, you're right, Wesley. I'm on their main site now.
Guacamole was Drinkbox Studios.
Yeah. Okay. You can. My bad. Anyway, this is what Rhyme looked like. I mean, looks fantastic. Has a great. What was those guys that did the Shadow of the Colossus? Ico had like an Ico feel to it.
Rhyme?
Yeah, Rhyme
Yeah.
has like an Ico feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And,
The water.
yeah, I haven't seen anything from it in a while though, so it's been like a question of like, is it ever going to come out? But yeah, I guess they made Deadlight, huh? That didn't do too well. But I don't know. I didn't play Deadlight, so I can't speak for that genre. I do know that. Look, it's got Microsoft attached to it, so that scares me.
I heard okay things about Deadlight. I believe I have a copy
Don't
of it. somewhere.
apologize for them, Wesley.
Just haven't got around to it. No, I think it was like, a 70. So, on the Rob scale, that's like the best game ever.
Yeah, it'll last. Were you gonna say, Ashley?
Well, I don't think you just said this, but I mean, it was just going to be on exclusive for Sony, but now it's just exclusively on PC, or that's what they say it's going to be released as.
Steam, probably, right?
Steam, right? Steam.
Yeah.
Although, but Steam only for PC, because Steam's on Mac too. But
Yeah, but in the reality is most of those games don't run on
yeah,
Mac, so it has to do with GPU usage and stuff. But they swear that the game's still coming out. They're still gonna do. Right here they go. Rest assured, we're still gonna Rhyme. We'll offer more information. So I just hope it doesn't end up being an Xbox One exclusive, because then I'm gonna throw something.
That would be fucking hilarious.
no, well, either
You
way,
bought back our rights to sell it to somebody else.
Right? We're gonna exclusively be on Xbox One now. Fuck. Yeah.
Like Microsoft secretly gave them the money to buy it back.
And then they didn't release it and just folded the studio. Yes. They got the full Mullen now.
Full Mullen, it's like the full Monty,
Right.
but of video games. Nice.
So that's all I got to say right now. Ashley, you playing anything right now? Or are you in work mode?
I'm kind of in work mode. I'm still kind of grinding on Rayman Legends. And oh, by the way, I want to make note, Wesley, you're talking about the 8-bit stuff.
Hmm.
Okay, so I was on what was it? The one with the frogs and the okay, basically you start and the screen
You're talking
goes
about
to
in
white.
Rayman Legends.
Rayman
There's an
Legends,
8-bit
yeah.
mode, right?
Yeah, the 8-bit mode. The
Hmm.
screen, it does the white noise. That one with the white noise. Do you remember that one?
Vaguely, I just remember each one would do something that would
It
totally
was
mess you
terrible.
up.
The white noise, my eyes were like, it was an assault to my eyes every 2 seconds. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. It was terrible.
I remember my wife was watching. There's one where it does like picture in the picture, like it adds two screens, and
Oh
then
man.
later on, your screen is like 32 of the same screen. So you have
No.
to just like stare in the right corner, and
Yeah.
focus on one of them.
But yeah, it's terrible. Like the first one I could do because it was kind of like fish-eyed, I guess is what it was, or bubbled. I don't know. It was weird. It was like a bubble vision where
Yeah, it has
everything.
like how like those Capcom like arcade games. You ever play like the Street Fighter remakes? They do that
Uh,
like arcade cabinet mode where it's like looks like it's bulged out.
yeah, yeah. See, that was what the first one was, and I had never played that before. But the second one, that one was the one that got me because it was just like you were basic. It looked like it was you were like basically being blinded every 2 seconds, and
Mhm.
it was just like you would jump and just be like, I'm just gonna follow the rhythm, like.
Yeah, like the very last one turns into like basically Pong at the end. You're just dots.
Yeah,
Just like
that's the
what?
one you were talking about.
Yeah,
But
I
anyways,
rage quit on that a few times.
yeah, but that's where I am right now. Hopefully I will get to a new game soon. I mean, I definitely have some new ones I'm raring to play. So other than that, anybody else playing anything?
I've been playing The Division this last like week a little bit. I put about like 5 or 6 hours in. It's kind of like Destiny. It's a fun shooter, squad base. It's a game to play with friends. The Most of the reviews have been in that 7 range, and people are like, "Oh, that's too harsh." And when you're playing with friends, any game's fun when you play with somebody else for the most part.
Like
Mm-hmm.
Crackdown.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you get 3 or 4. We get 3 or 4 people together, and it's a lot of fun just doing missions. You play like the hard missions. The AI will flank you. It's really, really smart. It has that Ghost Recon feel. With like the mission structure of like a mini MMO, like a Fantasy Star Online or Destiny, for example. And it looks really good. It's got great music, but it does feel a little empty sometimes. Like there's just not a lot of people to interact with. The characters aren't as interesting. That in the story mode, they're just general people. They're just human. They're regular people. They're not anything special. Like Destiny, at least you're talking to like aliens and mythical people, and you're just like, who are these people? I wonder. And while Destiny doesn't explain who any of them are, so you never learn. At least now you're starting to with the last expansion.
Right.
Um, but at least there's like mystery. Everyone else in the division is like, oh, it just looks like my aunt. So why do I care? But their PvP mode, Dark Zone, is actually really cool. You fight against AI, but when you encounter other people, you can kill them and steal their loot that they have. And the whole point is to get loot in there, and you can evacuate it out. And when you start evacuating your loot out, a helicopter will come, and you have to like kind of hold down a point for a minute, and people will get alerted, and they can come try to like fight you and take what you're, trying to send away to your, vault back at your base. So it's pretty funny. Or
And
some
and
people
is
will just see you.
this
Go ahead.
oh, is this on PS4?
Yeah, PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
And what were you saying?
Oh, we robbed our first person the other night, and it was really funny because I was in a group of 4, and there was this one guy just hanging out with us, and we left him alone for a while. But we saw that he had loot on him, and 2 friends were like, just leave him alone. And then me and another friend were, kind of evil, so we're like, nah. We're like, 15 seconds left before we evacuate. We're gonna murder this guy and take his stuff.
Is this a real person? Some
It's like
guy
a
that's
real
really
player of the
playing
game
out
who
there?
who thought he was just hanging out with us, and
Man.
because he wasn't in our squad,
Yeah.
he wasn't protected. I was reading 2 online people. If you shoot somebody else, you get like marked. And what people will do in the game is they'll run in front of your fire. So you get marked as like a bad guy, and there's more incentive to kill somebody who's been marked. So it's pretty fun, but
And
it's decent. It's a decent game if you like
that
Destiny and you're looking for something different. Uh,
Yeah. And so is this a game where you're like constantly online, so there's like no pause or anything like that?
yeah, I mean you can go into like your base and stuff, just
Yeah.
like going back to like Earth or whatever that little hub place. I can't always forget the name of it in Destiny, but yeah, there's places you can
Oh,
downplay.
the tower. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Or
there's
or Destiny and Outpost, sorry.
yeah, and in any of the missions, like the story missions, you can replay. You can replay them on different difficulties. You can hop in online with some. You can find squads really easy to join. So if you don't have friends to play with at the time, you can play with other people, or you can run solo.
Very cool.
Yeah, if you like Destiny, it's definitely worth checking out. It's just it's a modern setting. It's New York. A virus breaks out, and right after Black Friday, and so like the whole like city goes to hell.
We came for DVDs. We
That's
left
pretty
with our
much how it is.
lives.
Yeah.
Like.
And then there's like the different factions. There's like these guys called the Cleaners, and they're a bunch of like sanitary workers who just decide they're gonna burn everybody to
Oh,
ashes to help eliminate this virus. So there's these dudes with like canisters on their backs and flamethrowers, and then there's other factions. There's like a gang faction and whatnot. So
Well, I've been busy
interesting.
playing Mario Brothers 2.
Which on
Slightly different than
the
Wesley's experience.
the Japanese one.
uh,
No. The original, the U.S. remake of Doki Doki Panic.
wait,
Cool.
so this is old. Like
Yeah, on the NES. Like,
okay.
Before your parents were born.
No,
no, no,
we
no,
had an NES.
no. She's not that. She's not that. We haven't hit that yet, Wesley. It's
He's not
been
that young.
15 years.
I
And
mean, don't get me wrong, like I I think the first one of the first games I ever played was Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man. Yeah, or something like that.
Did you have a memory card though?
Sure, it was somewhere in there.
yeah,
I mean,
I wrote down the score and I just tried to beat it. Uh, but no, I've been playing Mario 2 on the NES again for a few reasons. But I'm just kind of like reminded when I was a kid, I hated Mario 2. I didn't like it. I know now people kind of look back and they go, "Oh, I like it because with the princess you could fly." Uh, it didn't feel like a Mario game, and obviously now I know why. Because they just reskinned a different game called Doki Doki Panic. But I remember the first time I beat that game, Wesley, it took me like a year. I finally beat it, and the whole fucking game. Spoilers. All right, so if you don't want to know the ending to Mario
eh,
2, it's a fucking dream. Like Mario's sleeping, and I remember
oh,
being really pissed off, like at
I would be
the
too.
like really this whole fucking thing didn't even exist, And that's I'm just replaying it again. Um, I have to say there is something. There's no time limit in this game, right? I don't remember there being a time limit. I never ran out of time, so I don't remember there being a time limit. But I was just playing there. I was like, there's no time limit. I'm just running around, kind of exploring. There actually were a lot of good ideas there that kind of didn't come back until like Mario 64 in a way. In the way that like Zelda too, there's a lot of ideas there that you sort of see get not get redone until reused until Zelda 64. So I think in hindsight, I think a lot of those Super Mario 2 mechanics grew into the Mario universe, especially now. Like when you get Super Mario Land on Mario World on Super 3D Mario World on the Wii U, you can use a princess and she floats and shit like that. But I think that's like a better. Obviously, it's 30 years of difference. That's where they sort of marry the Mario 3 Mario World universe with those kind of mechanics. But just going back and playing a bit of that, I wish one of the reasons why I started playing this again was because there was this plugin that you could fuck with games on the NES where you go online, you upload your ROM, you plug in the URL, and it would turn it turns any NES game, any ANY
Just any
NES,
any.
right? NES game into 3D. Like it takes all the pixels and makes them
Yeah, I heard
3D
about
blocks.
that.
And I tried it a little bit with Mario too, just to kind of see, and it's kind of weird. But that got me thinking, like, man, that look of taking pixels and just making them three dimensional, but playing them still side scroller looks really really cool. Like I think like there's no sound reason why that doesn't exist. I would like to see this as a remake like that, just like pixeled. You know the way they did the pixels as 3D and dot heroes, 3D dot heroes,
Hmm.
but as a side scroller. You know?
I mean, how does it compare to like? Have you played any of the 3DS classics that are 3D, like Excite Bike and
Yeah.
stuff?
Well, it's because it's glitchy. It's just kind of randomly doing. It's randomly asserting depth to pixel length. When it doesn't work, it's weird, and when it works, it's way better because the stuff on the 3DS is flat that has depth. So basically in 3D, things get a value. Black, gray, white, whatever's white's all the way forward, whatever's black's pushed all the way back. So on those 3DS games, it's just kind of like a card that gets you some depth. But on the plugin, things actually are three-dimensional. Like they're 3D cubes because you can rotate the camera. You could go first person and walk around in the levels even. So I really wish Nintendo would make that. Like someone's got to build that engine, man. Start remaking these 3D games like that. And a game like Mario 2 is a game where I'd like to see that. What's it called? Minus World? No, it's not the Minus World. What's it called? The Dream World. See, I'm not very good on Nintendo lore. Like I'll be honest, man. I really don't even get any of the Dream World. There you go, the Dream World. The Dream World, which is funny because it's all a dream. And
Very
I do wish they'd bring back Wart though. Like bring back Wart. Like fuck it. If it was about a dream, make Mario 64 2. Mario 64 -2. And bring back Wart, but put it all in. I don't know.
Wart is the other bad guy that sort of looks like Bowser, except
Only appeared in this one.
he's a frog.
He looks kind of like the Slurm guys. Remember the guys that make Slurm?
Well, didn't he go on to star in Battletoads? Like he lost some weight.
Yeah, yeah.
Or was that Pimple Rash? Was it
Pimple
Wart?
Rash and Zits?
And Zits, okay. Wart's their
Wait.
long lost brother they left behind.
I know my rare lore. My Nintendo lore is a little iffy.
Please make them related. That would be even better.
Speaking of rare, I was listening to the Banjo-Kazooie soundtrack the other day. I missed that game so much.
See, Nintendo should rebuy Rare.
Ukulele, man.
Yeah.
Ukulele. I back them. Looking forward to it. I hope at some point Ukulele gets VR support. That'll be awesome.
You make me almost want to go back and play Mario 2. I love that game. It felt more adventurous than the other games. Like you were
I appreciate it more
exploring.
now, but when I was a little kid, I was in the 3rd grade. I kind of wanted just more Mario. Like I wanted what Mario 2 was in Japan, which was more Mario, but I guess way fucking harder. But I appreciate what they did with Mario 2 now more than when I was a kid. Coincidentally, also the first game reviewed Nintendo Power. So, if you guys didn't know that.
Yeah, I had that Nintendo Power. My dad used to work at a grocery store and he brought it home for me. He's like, check out this new magazine we got. And I remember it had like a Zelda, it had the Zelda map in it.
The second quest.
Yeah, the second quest.
Yeah, the second quest map. You type in Zelda, you can automatically start with the second quest. But
Even though, oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say even though Nintendo Power was a little bit before my time, if I had read them, I probably would have kept them because I usually keep my Game Informers. In fact, I'd probably have the Game Informers I had from 2003, except that I cut them up and made like magazine, or like when kids cut things out of like newspapers or whatever, and they make like collages. I used to do that.
Like ransom notes.
Yeah, I used to do that with my magazines, and I'd make them in folders and then take them to school, and they were like my school folders. So
Dear
that's
Mom,
what
if
happened.
you ever want to see your son again, also my brother, please bring $5 to my room.
Yes. No. But anyway,
Sorry.
just want to let you know.
It got a little dark there.
What I will say is Nintendo Power, the first 50 issues, it was like being in a club. The vibe of the magazine was like a club, like a clubhouse. Not like a magazine where there's these editorials and sections and journal. It was like a big club. You were a fan of this system and the culture. That's what it was.
They taught me words. I always will remember, they taught me the word simultaneous.
They taught me what $2.99 a minute meant. Because I was dumb enough to fucking call the game counselors once. And I've told the story before, but I held off calling the game counselors my whole life. Of course, my kid life, right? until I got Link's Awakening on the Game Boy. And there's this dungeon where there's this part where you had to like run and jump over this gap, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. And I'm like, I must be missing something. And I was like, you know what? I had like $20 in my allowance. I'm like, fuck it. If I get in trouble, I'll pay my dad $20. I gotta know what this is. I gotta know because I was on Christmas vacation and I just couldn't. I just had to know. So I finally called up. Took forever. Finally got a hold of a guy. Go through the exact scenario, and his advice was, yeah, you just have to like just do it. Like there was no trick. There was no trick. And then after he said that, I looked down, I ran, I jumped, and I made it. I was like, oh. He's like, all right, so that's it, right? I'm like, yeah, that was $24.95.
Yeah, I spent like $20-$30 calling the Sega hotline because I was stuck on the game Sylphie. Even with the invincibility code, I couldn't beat the final boss because there's eventually a point where it just destroys you no matter what. It just obliterates the screen. You have so much time to beat it.
Was that intentional or is that a glitch?
No, it was intentional. Like, so you could be invincible to damage, but there's basically like a point where it blows up the whole screen and you just die. So you have to kill the boss within like 5 or 10 minutes, whatever the time limit was. So I called. The guy's like, you have to shoot this spot. And I still couldn't figure it out. And I think to this day, I still haven't beat it. Like I went back later and I still couldn't figure it out. You know, watch a YouTube video.
Well, that being said, if you guys haven't seen that 3D NES thing, let me see if I can just bring it up really quick so I can show people. Because like sometimes I forget I have this computer here now. 3D NES.
Hey, speaking of VR, did you get the new Samsung VR?
Okay, so check this out. My Samsung S7 arrived. Okay, I got an image of this now. You guys can see. So like, and I'll put this link right here, Wesley, for you. Right in the Skype. So this is an example of plugging in Mega Man. And so it takes the tiles and then projects them forward.
Almost looks like stop motion or something.
When it works, it has a really cool effect. So right now it's just sort of like stock, doing things. But if you look and see some of the video on, turn the sound off, on like, see some of these videos, like this Dr. Mario looks fantastic. But then some of the pixels, they don't line up properly. Some of them end up really weird, like the world map. Like Contra looks really good. Contra looks fantastic. But like some of the world map stuff looks weird. That being said, there was a discussion I was having with a couple of old-time retro gaming dudes, and they were complaining that, like Nuclear Throne looks all 8-bit, and, it's kind of like they felt like the giant pixel thing has lost its luster or whatever. I think this is a way of retaining pixels, but just project them into 3D. I think there's something there to it. Maybe not so software-driven, like you'd have to actually go and do it, but you have to actually work the engine out from scratch. But I don't know. I thought it was cool. I played around with it, and I think that idea has a lot of potential, actually. So, you should check it out. It's glitchy, though, right now. Whew. So, no podcast next week or the week after because I'm going to be in Big Bear. So y'all know.
Big Bear?
Yeah, I'm going up to Big Bear. Yeah, Big Bear.
I don't know what that is.
It's a big snowy thing we got up here. We got snow.
In the San Bernardino Mountains.
Where the Santa Claus workshop is. That's how I remember that. And I'll be up there.
Dude, so Santa's Village now is like an extreme, like, adult park.
Yeah.
It has like zip lines and shit.
Yeah. So I'll be up there. But in the meantime, I just want to say about the Samsung. I got the S7. Tomorrow I got to go trade it out. But check it out. There's always a catch, right? It ships with the voucher. You get your free VR once I log in my registration into the site, and then it takes another 4 to 6 weeks to ship.
So I bought the S7 today at Best Buy, and they gave me my Samsung VR and memory card right then and there.
I'm going to see what I can do about getting that handed to me at the T-Mobile tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to do. Because
So,
I think it's bullshit. So, but I got to go down there and have them.
I think I may get the Edge. They didn't have any, but they said I have 2 weeks to swap it.
The S7's fine, man. It's snappy.
I think so. It's it's the same processor, and I always feel like with that if you're giving a bigger screen with like extra functionality and it's the exact same processor wouldn't technically, run slower.
Yes.
So
Yes. The S7 works great. Don't worry about the other stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Ashley, where can people find you on the internet? Oh, you have something else?
I got one more thing. If you go to DK Oldies, I don't know why it's called DK, but you can get the Nintendo Power issues. But they're kind of expensive. They're like $30 per issue. But
DK Oldies. Like Donkey Kong.
yeah, like DK.
Oh, so it's an actual retro gaming store.
Yeah.
And we don't
But-
see any money from these sales, right, people? Like, so you're not just, huh?
Yeah.
Right,
I mean, I
Ashley?
don't really know what the heck. I just found it and I don't really know what.
So they're selling old Nintendo Powers here?
Yeah,
Where?
but it's like weird because it's like $80 scratched through, and then to the side it says 30
You
or
can-
29.99. So I'm like,
Where are they located? I'm on here now. Let me just type in Nintendo Power. They got a few. They got a
Mondays
few.
through Friday.
They got a few issues.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but you know what you can also do is just go on eBay, type in Nintendo Power a lot, and you can usually
You
find a
can.
good deal.
you
Yeah.
can.
Cool, DK Oldies. I didn't know, but you ever bought stuff from here before?
I'm not.
Oh, you know?
No, I just searched a random Google
Nifty
search.
site. Nifty.
I like how
nifty.
everything is technically on sale. You can't trick me.
Yeah, everything's on sale, and everything looks like it's brand new, but I got a feeling.
It's not.
I got a
It's
feeling.
it's gonna show up with like some Asian video store sticker label on it.
Add the instruction manual for $1. So what are the odds that's the original instruction manual?
And it kind of would be kind of cool, but I mean, if it's been used a whole bunch, then maybe not.
There you go. NES replacement screws, 12 count, $199.
Is that on sale?
Yeah, normally $3.
I'll be honest,
Yeah.
I do love retro gaming sites. There's a place in Vegas, Classic, is it Game Deep? It's right across from the pinball museum. There's a pinball museum. And right across the street is this gaming store, this retro gaming store. You have to go. If you've never been, you have to go.
Where is this?
It's in Las Vegas. If you ever go to Las
Ah.
Vegas, they have the pinball. There's a pinball museum, right? They have
Yeah.
elevator. Right across the street is this retro gaming store. Fuck the pinball museum. It used to be cool. They don't upkeep it anymore. It's ridiculous. But the fucking that store across the street is awesome. They have everything. They have a whole section just to get dedicated to Commodore 64. Like,
I have a
It-
friend that lives in Vegas, so maybe I'll just be like, hey, go there, don't take pictures, but just see what it's like for me.
Just take
next
things.
time I'll be there with Brandon for that con in June.
That's
I'll
right.
take photos. But yeah,
What's that con called?
The Amazing Arizona.
Amazing
This would be
Arizona.
Amazing Vegas.
Amazing Vegas con.
Yes, amazing is their thing.
Amazing.
There's a place in LA that's supposed to be like really awesome too. I just never made it up there. But
Really?
yeah, it's supposed to be. I think it's like North LA, but it's supposed to be like a pretty big. Where I'd have to look see if it's still in existence, but as of a couple of years ago, and they have pretty fair prices from what I understand.
I love retro gaming stores, games. You know,
I think they're building a museum in Frisco, Texas. To
okay, say
I live very close, so that's why I'm like, I don't really know what's in it though. I kind of want to go see when it's done, if it's done. Everything's new in Frisco, so.
All right, cool. Ashley, where can people find you on the internet?
YouTube, Instagram, and oh my gosh, what's up? Facebook. There we go. I'm Gang Feather.
All right, Wesley, where can people find you?
Twitter, and to mix things up, I have a new handle. It is now at NZXT Wesley.
Is that Wesley NX? You should have got Wesley NX. And every time they come up with a new system, you should update your name.
Well, NZXT is a company I work for. So
Oh, smart. Good job. All right, as always, folks, you can find me here, sketchcraft.com. That's the name of the site. Thank you for supporting the show. As you know, we appreciate your subscriptions and your sharing of the videos. So if you do that, Rob sleeps easier at night. He knows all this was worth it. Now, we really appreciate it. As always, please join in. 2 weeks, folks. We'll be back with more podcasts in about 2 weeks. I'm going to go ahead and check this. I'm going to hit the music. And hopefully Rob will get to play with some VR soon. Fucking Samsung. Like
I'll let
motherfuckers.
you know how it is.
Thanks, Wes. Dicks. All right, folks. See you all in 2 weeks. Bye.